Well, welcome back, everyone. Hayley has graciously decided to come back. Thank goodness. And we're going to be talking a little bit more about the rock album. Then we're going to talk about her Celtic album and then the future. But go ahead.
Yes, I mentioned before I couldn't quite remember the influences that made my bed for the drumming, that quite quirky drumming, quite original thing at the beginning. And Jimmy informed me that it was Simon Phillips, I Will Remember by Toto, and also Mike Portnoy, which was the one from Mike Portnoy. The Take Away My Pain, the Dream Theater track. So you have to
Oh,
see if
yeah.
you listen to the beginning of Made My Bed, you have to see if you can recognize the influences
Yeah, definitely.
from him there.
Definitely.
So, I thought I'd share that as he had passed on. Um, and yeah, it's nice. It's nice to kind of acknowledge where you've been inspired by somebody. Um,
Yeah. And
I've said to see
I
if you
don't know
can.
if I mentioned it, but the lead singer on Dream Theater's first album passed away this week. And
Yeah,
so
I
that's
saw
why
that.
I put that album
Oh,
up there. It was a great album, great start for that band. But a lot of people don't even know about that first album. And they're, when they do buy it, they're expecting James LeBray, and he's not there yet. But this guy was fantastic, and Mike did a big presentation about him, Mike Portnoy, about how it was missing him and everything. So
mm,
anyway, you're working with some great people. Do
ah, definitely.
you want to talk a little bit more about anything else on the rock album? The
No, I
Melanie
think
Melanie
through
is her rock album. Yeah.
Melanie's the title track. I explained with Last
You
Goodbye
talked
how
about
I was very cheeky and took somebody else's song with their permission and turned it on its head, chopped it up, and left the bare bones and turned it into a rock song. That's probably actually one of my favorite songs to perform. Last Goodbye.
that. I
So
bet. Yeah,
towards the
bet
end
it's
of my
fun.
end of our show, it's yeah, it's one of the really good ones to with power ballady rock to sing. It's good, a really good fun one. We didn't mention Little Star. I'll give Matt, our guitarist, and Jimmy a good credit on this one. Kind of the writing is really by Matt. All the most complicated proggy stuff in all the crazy time signatures and things is definitely, you can see his influence for sure. But Little Star, like the concept of this actually came about by Jimmy. So the drummer in my band is actually my other half. And he kind of wrote the lyrics, or like an idea of the lyrics. I obviously had to come along and tweak them a little bit and play with them. But he came up with the idea while I was in labour with our first child, our daughter. And I had a really pretty awful 5 days of being in labour with her. And so the
Oh my
song is
goodness.
basically, I was just horrendous.
That's a
Um,
long.
it was like pretty
Yeah.
grueling. Um, and yeah, he's basically, Little Star is about him talking to our daughter and like saying like, hurry up. That hazy days is like mum's in pain, is taking all the drugs. And yeah, hurry up, come into the world and like get her out of pain. And it's about that kind of like that duet, that dance of being in labor and stuff. So a lot of people probably wouldn't never even think about that when they hear this
No,
song.
no, I
And but that's what I love about music, and that's what I love
yeah,
about writing, is because yeah. So to me and Jimmy, actually, Little Star is like super personal. Is a song for our daughter about like being from like me being pregnant. But for other people, like they can put their own, they can listen to it, think something else, understand something else, relate it to their own life with any of the songs, and that's like the power of music, that you,
yeah,
once you write something so personal, you then give it out to the world for other people to latch onto and create their own stories or their own memories with. I think that's what's really amazing, and like it's such a gift to be able to give. It doesn't really matter what I think about the songs or what influenced me, because once I like release the music, it's no longer really mine. It's for other people really, and I really like them.
yeah. No,
I think
no.
it's really special.
All right. So if you haven't bought that, please get out there and get that one. But now we're going to talk about her Celtic album, Far From Here. And it starts out with the song Far From Here. You've already told a little bit about it. Do you want to mention anything else about that, or go ahead and do the same thing? Just talk about your favorite songs off of this album and
So
what it's like to perform some of them.
okay.
Okay, sorry.
So Far From Here, as I said, it's the only original one, and Mike informs me it's about this princess who is mourning her homeland, which would be Ireland in this case, or a place in Ireland, and she's kind of run away from it because the man that she loved there in her hometown basically ditched her for another woman, and so she kind of like ran away, and she's mourning her lost land and probably her lost love as well. Um, and so that's what this one's about. And we actually did a music video for this, which was filmed in Canberra Sands. So any kind of, if there are any English listeners, they might have been on Canberra Sands beach, and I was very sneaky, just went
Yeah,
down there,
I think
filmed on it. And then got a few very strange looks while I was wearing actually a very expensive. I've been lent this in crazy couture gown by this amazing designer called Krasinska, and desperately trying not to get it damaged or wet or sandy. So people probably were wondering what on earth I was doing prancing around in the sand dunes. And there's the second single off the album. It's quite special to me actually. It's called Shootaroon. So it's sung in Irish, majority in Irish Gaelic, or split. I think the choruses are in Gaelic and the verses are in English. And I picked this song for the album because, as I said, all the rest of the songs are covers of mostly traditional music, But this one was actually a song I sang in Lord of the Dance.
Oh,
So
okay.
I sang like a long, long time ago, many, 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 many times. Gosh, probably hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is like a really appropriate one for me to add, that because the difficulty I had with coming up with the songs for this album is I'd already put like 10, 11 favorites on Celtic Rose.
Yes.
Or like the really big ones, your Danny Boy, You Raise Me Up, Isle of Hope, Isle of Tears, like the really, Song for Ireland, all the massively big famous ones. So I was like, I'm going to have to really think hard about what I want to put on this one. And so, yes, Shootaroon was a really important one for me to add. And funnily enough, so they're the two music videos that I've shot for the album. The first one, so the Far From Here, when we were on Canberra Sands, I just found out I was pregnant with my son,
Okay.
like the night before, and so I was in that kind of like nobody knew, and you just want to like it burst out your mouth. I'm pregnant. You want to tell people you can't. So that was really funny. I remember being there and wanting to be able to. Actually, my parents were on set, and I like couldn't tell them, and I wanted to. And then we shot Shootaroon about a month later, and I was so ill. I can't even tell you. I had like the worst morning sickness with my son, and I pushed myself. We did like it was actually I think it was October, November when we shot that. And if you've seen the video, I'm standing on the top of like a water tower in November in an evening gown. So it was freezing cold, crazy freezing cold. So until the director said like, okay, action, I had like UGG boots on, keeping my feet warm, and then I quickly kicked them off, put my high heels on, and do it. And it was absolutely freezing, and I had this terrible morning sickness. So I actually ended up in hospital after that shoot because I just like pushed myself too far. And I like as you said, I as I say, if I commit to something, I do it. And with all my solo stuff, I'm really conscious that like everyone's there for me. So like, it's my video shoot. So I'm not going to complain about it being cold. I'm not going to complain that I feel ill or I feel sick because, people are there for you. So you can't complain about it. So yeah, I probably pushed myself a bit too far for that one. But it's still actually probably one of my favorite songs that's from the album. And the video is lovely. And actually something really special about the video is that if you have seen or you have a copy of Celtic Rose, all of the artwork for Celtic Rose was shot at Munstead Water Tower in 2011. And the photographer that shot those is the videographer of Shootaroon, and it's the same location that we shot the video in like 11 years later. So it has like all these like special links, and the same dress designer as well. So it was really cool to be able to tie together because I wanted Celtic. It's Far From Here to be like this kind of anniversary project. It was supposed to be 10 years, but it ended up being nearly 12. Yeah, 12 or so. It's cool to have the kind of the links of like the same photographer, same locations and things.
That's good.
A nice little kind of tied it all together.
Like a family.
Yeah, very much so. And I think when you've got in doing independent music, it's really nice to keep the same team and bring people along on your journey as well. It's just been a really great thing to do. Other favorites on the album will probably be Scarborough Fair.
I
I
was
think
I was gonna
they're
say
my top three probably.
I
Um,
grew up with Simon and Garfunkel, and I know it's not theirs, but I love that song.
I think possibly people like latch onto it because it's one of the more familiar ones. But I think actually as a song on its own, I think it's still one of my favorites. Like the arrangement that Mike's done, and I think it's one that probably really suits my voice. And then I love Caledonia, which is the closing
Yeah.
track of the album. It's one of the bigger, more epic kind of ones in the kind of orchestral arrangement. It's the close of our Act One show, and I actually um, I fell in love with this song by hearing Celtic Women sing it. It's not
Oh
one I
yeah.
knew before. It's written by Dougie MacLean, a Scottish composer, and obviously Caledonia is referencing Scotland, or Scotland is often referred to as Caledonia. And I like the fact it's got a key change, it makes it more dramatic, more epic, and yeah, I've always just really liked this one. So yeah, I kind of poached the idea from Celtic Women for that one. Um,
Right.
and Sweet 16 is I actually knew as a duet from a show I was in called Ragu. So again, it's pulling from the different parts of my career, and I turned the duet into the solo version. And that was written by the Furies. That's one of the more modern ones. It's not traditional. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a little few little highlights from the album.
So you mentioned how you open the show, but then how do you and you're wearing something more formal, and how does that show go, or how what am I trying to say? Discuss a little bit about what that show's like, and probably when you're done with it, you're like, oh, good, now I could go and have fun. No, is there that feeling or?
I think I mean, I absolutely like if I had to like choose of one side of I would obviously do the rock show because it is like fun and I just get to like rock out and own the stage and I just love it. I really just adore being on stage so much, and especially doing the rock. However, there is something I love about the Celtic that I think it's a real showcase of my voice in a way that the rock show I don't think perhaps is, and that's something actually I want to address in our next album and maybe adjust the way I write. And I'm still fairly new to writing, and I want to be able to make sure it's really doing my voice as much justice as possible. But I do feel like the Celtic stuff is where my voice really sits. It feels really
Yeah.
natural, and it's very comfortable. And I feel that, which makes me feel very comfortable on stage with it. Um, and so I really like the fact that I get to, because I've done obviously rock in this kind of concept like style for quite a long time now, and it's really nice to be able to show people that this is like what I used to do, and this is what I think my voice is pretty good at. Rather than just being like rah and rocking out and just going for it.
Yeah.
It's nice to be
No,
able to
I'm
really
glad you did
show
this.
people what I do.
Yeah.
And I think the difference now that I'm fronting the Hayley Griffiths band rather than me being a lead singer in somebody else's band is it like this is like unapologetically me. Like if
Yeah.
you've come to the show, you've come. My musicians are, and I very much want my show to be a band, and I have insane musicians for that person, and I treat it as a band. Like it may be me fronting it and financing it and things, but like everybody is a very important member of the band. But having said that, it is my name at the end of the day at the back of the stage, and on the tickets, and so I really want to present me. And you know that's why I'm toying with this idea of do I keep the Celtic idea or do I just always do the rock, because
Or
it is
maybe
very much a
like you
part of
did,
me.
meld it into it.
Yeah, well,
Maybe
like yeah, so
do
maybe just do a few bits, but like throughout the show and create more highs and lows rather than this kind of quite strong act one,
some of
act
the
two.
Karnataka albums I've heard kind of have that Celtic sound to them. And there's no reason you couldn't do like a Celtic rock ballad.
Yeah. That's also what
Um,
we're maybe thinking, maybe a bit more towards the Celtic prog rock and use more of use more of that influence rather than being like, oh, we should stay away from the Celtic thing.
no,
So
no,
I think
yeah,
this is very
I
much
hope
now
you
like
don't. I hope you don't. Yeah, because you have a beautiful Celtic sound, and yeah, you don't want to give that away. You do excellent with it. So
think
yeah.
I think it's experimenting now, and I think now that we've kind of, I guess we're back to kind of like, I don't know, square one as such. With like, there's not really an awful lot on the. I've got a few ideas that we didn't get to fully work on, but if I think about it from like scratch, this is like, I guess, an exciting opportunity to now be like, where do we want to go now? Because we do
Well,
have
this
these
is
2 hours.
perfect.
What do we do? What do we do next?
Yeah.
Um, and I think for some of the guys, it might be a little more towards the proggier end, because like some reviews have said like it's not been like a super prog album, but like I don't think we kind of also went out to be like this has got to be pigeonholed as something.
Yeah.
Just make
No, it shouldn't. Yeah.
music. We've all got our own individual influences. That's why you can probably hear some kind of theatrical musical theatre. You can hear some, Made My Bed is in like 15/8 or whatever it's in, you've got, the musicianship and the prog side, but it doesn't have to be like so kind of pigeonholed to me
No,
anyway. I know certain like reviews you get people that want it to be something, um, and I don't know what this next one will be yet. As you said, I think we should add more Celtic perhaps influence. I want to draw on using like showcasing my voice in the best way possible, rather than just being about the song and melody. Actually, thinking more about how it will how it could my voice could be showcased maybe more. Um, yeah, I think it's an exciting kind of time to be able to think. Okay, now what's next?
have you
Um,
started writing or?
Um, I have to say, I mentioned I have a few ideas of well, maybe 2 to 3 kind of ideas that I started and didn't get to finish last time. There's also part of me that's like, maybe I should start from scratch. Um, and also because of the pandemic, we didn't get to jam. We didn't get to actually like be in the room. So Melanie and Far From Here were both completely remote albums.
Hmm.
We never like at the very beginning of Melanie. I think Broken Lullaby and like Last Goodbye. We'd actually was one that was in our original show, on our 2018-2019 show. But otherwise, everything was like just literally we like chat about it on Zoom. Jimmy produced the album, and he'd send people bits, so I'd like demo, and then we put together, and then I do the real vocals. I'd like a more collaborative kind of effort, and everybody being in the room, back to kind of basics, but maybe more
More
organic.
like a band.
Um,
Yeah, definitely.
so I think the more we can do that, and also we've got some new members, and that's going to maybe change the sound a little bit. And I'd like them to be able to be creative. As I said, I very much treat this as a band project, even if it is my name on it, and I want something everybody who works on it, everyone's going to be proud of, and shows
Definitely.
it. So
And are you shooting for next year or the following year?
I think in reality, we're probably looking at early 2025.
Okay.
Um, as hopefully you haven't heard too much tonight because I could hear them fighting. But I have like two very small children, which take up a lot of my
Oh,
time as
oh,
well. So
yeah.
it's also harder to kind of find the time to um to think straight, to be able to write.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That's a lot
but
of effort. That's a lot of work. Yeah.
to be creative, you need to be headspace. Um, say like with children anyway, it's exhausting with lack of sleep, and then we just did this brilliant tour, but it's exhausting touring. As much as I absolutely love it, and then it was the first time I've toured with kids.
Mm.
So so say we get back at say 3 or 4 in the morning, like years ago, I'd be like, okay, well I'll just sleep until 12. But the kids wake up like once, twice during the night, and then they're awake from like 6:30. So it's
Okay.
taken me like weeks to almost get over the tour, which has been quite new. And then obviously getting ill, and then takes even longer. Um, so
And
it's
then
like
you had a rough time on that one where you went over and the city got flooded.
oh
And you guys drove all the way over there, and then they couldn't have the gig. Yeah.
yeah,
And
I love
bands,
them.
I mean, or not bands, fans kind of think this is glamorous and it's beautiful and it's in this, they Led Zeppelin and, that kind of thing that, they fly into places. No, you're driving in through this. Well, go ahead, you tell the story. It,
Well, that's the thing. I mean, like at this level, we're like fully self-financed and independent, and like that was actually a massive hit for the band because like we'd hired a van. So like we got up, I think we like, was it like 9 o'clock or half 9. We'd hired the van. We like drove like up to kind of Loudon, which is like Nottingham kind of area. And we were only half an hour from the gig when they called to say it wasn't happening. Yet 2 hours before we'd called and they were like, "Oh, it's fine, it's going ahead, it's going ahead." And so we got home at like 6:30,
Hmm.
like having driven all day and then not played and didn't get paid. Like so that's like a whole day for everybody
Loss.
of
Yeah.
like fuel and the hire and then like musician fees and stuff. So um, it's a shame, but obviously it's like those poor villagers, like it's nothing compared to what they went through. Like
Yeah.
people's homes are flooded, and actually the hall ended up being like a refuge for people overnight. So I mean, I my greatest sympathy, but things like that is like becomes it makes like for us, for a band like our size, it's a challenge. And also
Have you had a chance to reschedule that, or I think you were talking about that, but
I've been trying to, but unfortunately the venue seems to be fully booked for 2024 already, which is a real shame. So it doesn't look like I'll be able to get that one. But I'm already working on an October November tour
oh,
for
okay.
2024. So I've already got some
24,
dates lined up.
not this year. Yeah.
So that's we've
You
just
need a
finished our.
break.
Oh
Your
yeah,
voice needs a break.
So we have a couple of dates actually in March because our tour was actually supposed to be March this year. And like literally a few days before the tour was going to start, my little boy became very, very seriously ill and in intensive care. That was a massive shock at the
Yeah.
beginning of the year for us. Um, and we ended up in hospital for a couple of months. So my whole tour ended up being cancelled. And it was like, you put so much kind of energy and
Yeah.
momentum in something, and we just released the albums kind of end of January, and it was like ramping up doing this tour, like just off the back of the albums, invested quite a lot in advertising and really, really going for it. And then suddenly you never expect, you never expect these things to happen, do you?
Yeah.
And so we had to cancel the whole lot. And we had like festivals in Germany that I like booked 6 flights for, and Italy. But I mean, like when your family and health is concerned, like the
But he's
money
okay.
money just the write-off and things, that he comes first beyond everything. And he's
But
doing, a lot of people have asked, he's doing really well, thank you.
good, good.
um, it was a scariest time in my life.
Oh yeah.
And it's really, I think, changed my perspective also on life, and probably inherently changed me. But he's doing really well, and I feel incredibly blessed that he's thriving. Um, but then this tour in October was like a long time coming, especially so it was like over like 4 years since we actually got to perform, before I had any kids, which is crazy. And so it felt like an extra special to actually get back on stage and do what I love and to really, really enjoy it.
That's
So
wonderful you're bringing them along though too, because they
um,
want to be with their mom, and you keep the family together, and they get
they're
to see these places. And
well, they're both like, I mean, they're very little, but they love music. They just absolutely, I guess it's in their
good.
blood, but you can tell like, as soon as like um, they hear music, they're always like up dancing or like bobbing along, or they always want to play the drum kit at home. Or my daughter's always saying, "Mummy, play Melanie, play Melanie." But when I play the Celtic stuff, she's like, "Mummy, you can turn that off." So
That's a
she's definitely a
shame.
rock chick.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they're great. But yeah, it's like I guess also maybe the new album will be influenced by me being a mother and the changes
Yeah.
that have come in my life. And but yeah, I definitely digressed, I guess. But that's kind of why I guess it will probably take longer to create something, uh,
Sure.
because of my additional duties, as such.
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll be worth the wait. And
No,
I'm
it will
excited,
be.
and I really want to get into it when we've got time and I feel better. Um, and I know the band are also excited to start writing and putting new songs. I think a new single early next year would be good to
Excellent.
start something.
Excellent. Um, what so then have you moved the tour to, you said October,
Oh
November?
yeah. So because we cancelled that tour, sorry, I kind of changed my path. Um, I rescheduled nearly everything for what we've just done in October. But one of my shows in Guildford, which is kind of actually going to be like my home, a bit more like my home gig,
Oh,
is going to be in March, and that's connected to a festival that we're doing. And then in April, I'll go back to Germany, one of the festivals that I couldn't do
oh,
last. In fact, they're both festivals that I had to postpone because of this year. So we're off to Germany, to Art Rock Festival. And then after that, unless kind of summer festivals come up, we're then going to be touring in October and November next year. So that's kind of where I'm at. I haven't released the dates yet, but we will be performing a couple more festivals. We're doing like Summer's End Festival and HRH Prague. And then I've kind of connected that to some other like actual our show dates. Hopefully more to come. And
Well,
then
good, yeah, because these albums didn't get the exposure because of that
yeah,
situation
that's
in
kind of what I
March. But
feel.
yeah, that's good.
So yeah, we need to like keep promoting them now because like yeah, as you said, I feel like everything kind of ground to a halt um, after March, and then it also took me quite a while to get the momentum and that interest back. It was like such a blow to cancel the tour and then everything
Yeah.
we went through mentally and stuff. It's taken me really until this autumn to kind of get back, and even actually in the tour to really get back into it and like, oh, it is worth still doing, and it is really like I do really love it. So now I'm
And
kind of fired up to keep going, keep pushing, and yeah, so new music and gigging. And actually, I just want to gig. I just want to be back
yeah.
on stage. Just love it so much. So the more
Well,
we can perform, the better, really, and get new fans, expose our music to different people, and show our crazy two sides, and see what people think.
and that's probably why you were so. I mean, you're a performer, but you definitely, after waiting so long, you were like, yes, please get me to the stage.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it was worth the wait, definitely. Just need to now grow a bigger audience and bring more people along and yeah, and showcase what we do because
Well,
people really like it.
but let me ask you this. Is there anything that I've left out or anything that you would like to talk about that I haven't yet?
No, I don't think so. Just if people are interested in both albums, I guess they can buy them if they would like to. If you're into physical copies, you can buy them at HayleyGriffiths.com. And I've also got a double vinyl, which is like my little special treat to myself to that I got. So the concept of my double vinyl is that there's no front cover. Basically just it's the album cover of each album, and then you can kind of choose which side you want to do it. There's no writing
Oh,
on it.
wow.
It's like this kind of like quirky concept, and it's both albums in one. So you got the vinyl as well, and then also in during lockdown, we released a live album and a live DVD. So people did want to kind of see our show, although our show has evolved quite a lot since then. But the live DVD contains 3 different shows that we did on our very first tour. And actually, that's a show that I will really treasure forever. As we headlined Crescendo Rock, Progressive Rock Festival in France, and I mean, for a new band to get the chance to headline a festival and a really beautiful one, like with the audience, we are as a band we're looking out to sea, so it's like really beautiful, and the most amazing warm audience, and that was like a real career highlight for me
I
getting to do
bet.
that.
I bet.
And the same festival organizers have a sister festival in French Guiana in South America,
Oh,
and
wow.
that was the Hayley Griffiths band's very first show. Our debut
Oh,
show was headlining in South America. So I mean, like that's good, that's amazing. And like we did that off the back of I think like one single. We had Aurora, and then we did like a lot of kind of Connecticut material, kind of reworked, and different covers and songs from my very first album, Silver Screen, which we did as a rocked up version. And like took different bits and pieces and put this show together, and that really kind of what I guess is the was the kickstart of the Hayley Griffiths band, and to make us write. I think we might have had Last Goodbye actually as like one of the first original songs. And so yeah, that's kind of been documented in our live DVD, which is nice to have something to to show the start of what we do. But
sure.
the start, we managed to headline these festivals, which is crazy. But it was really, really special. Yeah, so they're all available on my website, and then if you stream or download this, all the usual digital platforms, it's all available on there as well. But if you are like also enjoy listening today, I've got a really lovely, friendly fan club on Facebook, the Hayley Griffiths fan club. So if you please join, say hi, and everyone's really lovely and chatty and supportive. So anyone's welcome to join that. And otherwise, I'm quite active on Facebook. Hayley Griffiths Band music page, and also Instagram, Hayley G Music. So please do give us a follow and say hi if you're new after listening to me.
Excellent. Well, thank you really for all the time you've given us.
Thank you.
I really appreciate that. here at Progressive Rock Central.com and the Noble Shire for Progressive Rock discussion. But thank you very much for everything. Your voice sounded great. Appreciate you pushing through like you did. That was incredible. And thank you for everything, the music you're bringing to the world. And what a spirit. I mean, to fight through all that you've fought through. And now I hope you get what you deserve. And that's the recognition and the increase in fans, and hope you sell a lot of records. But please give her a listen and the band. It's fantastic music.
Oh, it's very kind. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me today.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and turn it off, and then you and I can talk here. But thank you again, Hayley Griffiths, for all your time and effort. Thank you. It was wonderful.